Alrighty, guys, we're back with another episode today. Always, this podcast is back. My name's Anthony. I'm joined by my best friend today.
Your boy, Danny.
And today, man, like always, we always promise to bring you guys the aces of every single industry, regardless of what it is, man. And this guy's the ace of the gridiron football field. Tell him why, Dan.
Like, we got my man, Jalen Cropper here. If you grew up in the Valley, you've seen this man catch touchdowns here at Sanger High. And, of course, if you kept up this amazing career, you've seen him catch plenty of touchdown passes here at Fresno State. And you will be seeing him in the future catch touchdowns every Sunday, baby.
Welcome to the pod, Jalen. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And before we get started, man, quick shout out to the venue we're at today, Maverick Screen Printing right here in Sanger, California. For all your screen printing and bordering, whatever you need, man, A to Z, they got you covered here. Stop by Sanger, California. Give Mavericks a try. But cool, man. So, yeah, we appreciate you being on, bro. So I know obviously right now you got a super busy schedule, a lot of stuff going on. But I want to start off in the beginning, bro. Like, did you always play football when you were younger? Or like, when did you start playing football?
So I think the first year I played football, I was 5 years old. I do remember I played here. They used to call them the Pee Wees. So started here. I think our team was called like the Cheyennes or whatever it was. But that was like my first year like ever playing football, organized football at least. I know I obviously playing flag football and stuff like that, but like organized football, like contact football, that was my first year playing when I was 5. Believe it or not, the first sport I ever played was soccer though. My mom could tell you the stories of those. I was a goalie, so I would just sit in the goalpost and just do nothing. I wasn't really,
That's the best position to be in, bro.
Yeah, not really involved in the game.
A little bit.
When my uncle came, that was the only time that I would go out there and try to score and things like that. But when you're 4 years old, you're playing soccer, everything just the ball getting kicked around over there, the ball don't even come close to you. So that was like the highlight. When I was younger, I was always just looking forward to the Capri Suns and chips after the game.
Those post-game meals, bro, hit.
Yeah.
Uncrustable, Capri Sun. How long did you keep up with soccer before you switched over to football?
I only played 1 year.
Soccer's tough, bro. I feel like you're running 24/7, bro. That's kind of the reason why I never liked it. It's just too much running, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot of running.
So, obviously, you stuck to football and you did really, really well. And I feel like when you're young and you're playing football, because, I went through that phase too. You're like, fuck, dude, I can make this a career. Like, I want to go to the NFL. I feel like every kid thinks that. At what point in your career did you realize, like, holy shit, like, I can actually make this my career?
I think probably in junior high when I was really like, okay, like obviously, playing against better, good competition. I think every single year, it's from when I started playing football, obviously, in the championship. My 7th and 8th grade year, we were in the championship. Freshman year, it was us and Edison. And then sophomore, being able to win the Valley Championship. I think, just going through that phase where it's all just winning and, just obviously you love to win. So, being able to be around the culture of Sanger football and everything and be able to go through that program, I think really my sophomore year when I played that year, that was probably like the best year I had of football. It was just fun. Obviously, we were winning. We went undefeated. So I think that was definitely something that really helped me, really love this game a lot and realize that, this is not the last stop. It's either going to be college and then the NFL and then, there was never going to stop, chasing my dreams.
That's cool, dude, because I feel like, for example, in high school, I think I think junior high you could tell a little bit, but in high school especially, you can really see the talent gap, like, because you're playing other cities, other people. So it's really interesting to do that as a sophomore because that's pretty early on. I was expecting you to say like, oh, maybe my senior year, like when I started getting offers and stuff like that. I was expecting that to kind of be the answers. But at a sophomore, I think you're right though. I think you can already see like you can fill that out and you're like, all right, cool. Like these people are here, but I think I'm a little bit here. That's cool, dude. And when now back to high school football a little bit. When did the letters start rolling in? Like pretty early on.
Yeah, pretty early on. Really after my sophomore year, after my sophomore season. I believe I got my first offer from Oregon State. That was my first offer. So, talking to those coaches, one of them, the one that offered me, he played at Edison. So I think just knowing that, the things that how small the football world is. The coach that I just played for the East-West Shrine game. Marquise Williams, he's from Fresno, so he went to Bullard. So it was just crazy how little the football world is. Everybody's going to end up knowing everybody. So I I think, going through that process and, starting to receive letters, receiving phone calls, being able to talk to coaches after my sophomore year, like I said, like that's when I realized I was like, okay, like I obviously have the talent for right now. So be able to go through, college and, be able to improve every single year, and develop, my body, develop my mindset, obviously develop my speed, my football skills. I think that's where, it all tied in.
Something I want to get into, actually, because I don't know this answer, but it's obviously, like in sports, you have people that have God-given talent, which I definitely think you have. I think it's obvious if you watch yourself play, dude. But I know that in high school, what was because I know that I feel like sometimes people see you now in the draft, right? Like, I mean, if you tuned into the draft, you saw this guy, right? Put up really good numbers on the 42. By the way, that was a good performance. Yeah, it was a good performance.
We were trying to measure up. I think we timed each other at home, and we were way off. So
it was like
wasn't even close, bro.
Shit, we gave ourselves a head start.
Yeah.
We played to your back. I'm like, it's not even close. But what was it? Because obviously to success, right? Talent is part of it. But especially to get to the higher level and stay consistent at the higher level, obviously hard work is a big part of that. For you, when do you think your work ethic started kicking in? Like, did you always, like in high school, you're always staying after, doing extra drills in the morning, or what was that? When did you kind of learn that you needed a little bit of hard work on top of your God-given talent?
I think it was after, I changed my mindset, my outlook on like certain things. Like during high school, like I would go train probably 2 times, and then I probably won't go for like another 2 months. And it was just like, obviously, like I was going through high school, like I always thought it was just like I'm going out there to play football. So like none of the stuff that I train for can really help me. But, as I look back and, be able to train now with, different trainers, be able to be taught, certain things. Like from a receiver standpoint, you need to know, releases. You need to know how to run routes, get in and out of the breaks. And obviously you got to know football. So, like, all those things require different knowledge from different people. So, like, my football knowledge really came from, my actual football coaches and, being able to talk with Coach Tefford, Coach Moore, and also Jake. And then, the skill set, comes from, being able to be with my receiver coach, being able to, obviously watch videos on YouTube. You see a bunch of technique stuff. So, I think when I changed my mindset about, knowing that hard work, is going to be able to push you to the next level, I think that's when I started getting a lot of more extra work in the film room, on the field, being able to work those things. Because definitely when I look back at high school, I definitely think I could have, done a lot more if I were, to be able to go and train and be able to pick up and feed off people, their brain.
Do you feel like that mindset switched, bro, like after sophomore year when you started getting the letters? Or did it switch before?
Nah, it ain't switched to like my sophomore year in high school. I mean, not sophomore year in high school, sophomore year in college.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's when I was just like, obviously, I was 17 when I first got to Fresno State. So I was, still young, really not listening to, the coaches, thinking that, I could do the same thing that I did in high school. But obviously, playing against, talent like USC, that changes like your mindset on everything. Like obviously, you see these people at the school and you see, the talent level. So, you got to rise to the occasion every time you go play. So I think, after my sophomore year, I think, definitely off the field purposes, I got a lot more, working, extra work on the field, off the field, and, in the film room.
That's funny. It kind of sounds like, through high school and like a little bit throughout your sophomore year in college, you were kind of like that DK Metcalf, just like eat gummies, just show up and ball out.
Yeah,
that's
McDonald's diet.
That's exactly what I did. It was crazy. So the Fridays before our game, my aunt would take me at lunch and we would go eat Taco Bell. So that was like
that was
my pregame meal. Like I had to have it every time. And that was my grandpa. If he couldn't get it, my aunt would get it. So I think that was definitely something like I'm eating Taco Bell before the game, probably like an hour before the game.
Go-to order, yeah.
The go-to order, I had the two chicken chipotle loaded grillers, and then I had the Baja Blast. Every single time they knew the order.
Wasn't semi-healthy though. At least you got chicken in there, got some protein a little bit.
Some carbs,
After the game though, it was bad. Like I was in the restroom for at least 20 minutes after the game, but
that's relatable, bro.
It was worth it. It was worth
That's
it.
relatable. Taco Bell, Taco Bell does it to everyone.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. That's an interesting pregame meal that Taco Bell did. Mine used to be in high school. Mine was a double Western bacon cheeseburger from Carl's. Yeah.
I was just licorice, bro. I have a whole pack of licorice in the. I was a lineman though. I was a lot bigger. It's like a whole pack of licorice that did it for me.
Licorice. That's the only time I eat licorice at the movie theaters. Only time.
So going back to the competition, bro. I know you said obviously you had a big game against USC. You played a lot of big games throughout your college career. So talk about the competition, bro. Did you see any competition gap between the larger schools like USC or the other schools like that, or was it's kind of just like if you're a dog, you're a dog, and you know how to play. You know what I mean?
I think at bigger schools it's more consistent throughout the roster. I think that's really the only different thing. Obviously, schools like Fresno State, you get 2 or 3 players every year, that'll enter the draft, or probably one that gets drafted. And then you see USC, they have probably 12 people to go drafted. So I think it's just the consistency of the talent that comes out. I think that's really the only thing. There's really no gap of athleticism. There's no gap of, you're just that better than me. So, just playing teams like that, the year before I got there, they played Bama. They put up almost 30 points on Bama. So, the gap is not, a big gap. It's just, if they have 11 players on the field, they're going to have 11 players that are actually good. If we come out there, we're going to have 11 players that are good, but it's going to be like, they're probably got a couple dudes that are just bigger. Like their offensive line, like teams like that, like offensive line is probably the main
6'7", 320.
Yeah, but in skill positions, like there's no athleticism gap in the skill positions. Quarterback position, you don't see that. It's really just in the the interior, like all the big guys are all 6'7", corn-fed out there. And then we got we have a couple of those dudes, but it's like their whole D line, their whole O line is all 6'7", 315.
Even the bench guys are just covering the whole sideline.
Even the bench guys, like once they're gone, the bench guys are coming and out. It's them, and now they're bringing in other people, and they're just like filtering in. And that's how they recruit. They recruit freshmen. And they'll get a couple freshmen in, and they have a junior that's starting, so he'll play probably one more year, leave his senior year, and now they got everybody coming back, and it's like, they're not losing the step.
But before the big games, obviously you chose to stay at Fresno State, and I know that you had a lot of. Everybody here knows that you had a lot of offers. So what was the main driving factor where you were like, you know what? Because I feel, and the reason why I asked is because I feel like a lot of people that are from the Valley, most of the time you're like, fuck, I need to get out. I need to go to this school. I need to go to, especially like somebody like you, and in football, dude. The first thing you want to do, like people don't think of Fresno State like this super high tier program. Yeah. So what was the main driving factor behind the decision to stay home?
I think the number one factor was definitely when I found out my mom was pregnant with my little brother. That was like, I didn't hesitate about choosing to stay at Fresno State. But also, just knowing that, everything that you need is here. Everything from, the coaching staff that you have, the support system, with, my family. And then also, the support system that, the fans bring every Saturday. The environment that they bring, obviously, growing up and going to the Fresno State games, you see those things firsthand. So, obviously, knowing that, I always kind of dreamed of playing here too, other than USC, but it was just like, knowing that, the option, I had an option to stay here. Obviously, play for Coach Tedford, be able to play, for the Red Wave. But, everything that you need is here. Like, you just have to go out there and make plays on Saturdays.
Well, what's a quick recruiting video? What would you say to somebody right now, maybe a player that's in your position, but you want them to come to Fresno State and get that Fresno State experience? What would you tell them?
Man, I think you just got to just believe in yourself. Everything that you do, you just got to believe in yourself. If somebody, is doubting you, somebody thinks that, you're going to a smaller school, the film speaks for itself. If you go out there and perform on Saturdays how you're supposed to, the film's going to speak for itself. You go out there and do what you need to do, especially, we played, one of the top ranked, my junior, we played UCLA. They were ranked like 12 in the nation. They just beat, LSU. So, you have games like that, and it's just like, if you're going to perform, you just got to put all your chips in, bet on yourself, everything that you do. And that's really going to speak for itself at the end of the day.
That's money, bro. Talk about what it's like to play in front of the Red Wave, bro. Because obviously the Red Wave, whenever you go to the stadium, it's pretty rocking, man. So talk about the Red Wave compared to some of the other stadiums out there.
Man, there's no other stadium like Red Wave. I think, being able to play here, have all the fans. We had 40,000 fans at the games. When you score a touchdown, you make a catch. You hear the roar of the stadium. And also, knowing that, you have your family in the stands. So, you got to go a little bit, extra harder. So, I think, being able to play with them, have the teammates, and play with the support of the Red Wave is definitely different. I mean, this is football. Like, this is the only team that, Fresno has. They don't have no professional sports team. So, on Saturdays, they come to our games. So, a lot of these other schools, they have professional teams out there, so they're going to other games. So right here, it's all a community. We have smaller communities outside, like Sanger Apache. So even them, they come to the games, and I think just being able to play and know what you're playing for, I think that just speaks for itself.
I know a lot of people in the audience, they're gonna have like their most clutch moment that you came up with. But for you, bro, what's that moment? What if you're like, this is my much clutch moment here at Fresno State? What does that play for you?
Most clutch moment will probably be the UCLA game. I think the game-winning touchdown. That was a big game for us. It came down to the last 10 seconds of the game. We got the ball at the 20-yard line with, I think, like 48 seconds left. So, being able to go down that drive, I think I had like 3 catches that drive, including the touchdown. So, I think just that whole drive and, the whole sequence of events that, led up to it. Like me, to be honest, I thought we were going to lose that game. Once they scored, I'm like, dang, like we got 50 seconds left. I was like, I got no faith. And then Jake, brought us up, and he was like, we're going to go down in there and score. We practice it every day in practice. Every Thursday we practice, our 2-minute drill. Sometimes we'll have like 47 seconds, one timeout, knowing what we need, if we're down 2, if we're down 3. So we're down 4, so we needed a touchdown. There was no field goal, so it's like every shot we're going to take, is going to be to the end zone. So, that whole drive, going through that whole drive, man, just imagine it right now. It was just like a crazy feeling. Like, I still don't even believe it was real right now.
I know, you can see where your energy changes.
You can feel it, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can kind of see, you kind of start getting the goosebumps a little bit. Bro, and in that moment, bro, what's going through your mind? Because obviously it's a big stadium. There's a lot of fucking people there. And obviously, time is working against you. So I know, like, that you feeling the pressure. And you're making a lot of plays, too. What's going through your mind at that time, bro? Like, are you, like, nervous? Are you just in the fucking zone? Are you not even worried about anything?
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely in the zone. My first instinct was just, if the ball's thrown, I just got to catch it. Like, that's the number one thing. And then after I catch it, I could just do whatever I do. So, like, I caught the ball. The first one, I caught the ball in the middle of the field. And we only had one time, so I was like, I got to get out of bounds. So I made 2 people miss and got out of bounds. Second play, did it again, got out of bounds. And then I was like, okay, if we might score now. Like, we got a shot. So we do another pass down to Kels. He caught it on the sideline, went out of bounds. So the clock stopped, and then literally the next play we had scored. So, we scored, I think, in like 4 plays. And, just the whole mindset, like, everybody's just – I don't think it's just nervous. I think you're just locked in. You're not really – thinking about, you're just playing in the moment. But after, like, when we all went to the sideline, it was just crazy. Like, the fans jumping up and down.
Yeah, it was a crazy moment, dude.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it on TV, bro, and it was just, like, nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, the fans, you see the fan. Like, the stadium was 75% our fans. So, like, our fans travel good. So that was another thing that, the support that, the Red Wave brings. We played USC. I think we had more fans than USC did. So it's just crazy. I think UCLA didn't want to sell any more tickets when, like, all our tickets sold out. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Once all our tickets sold out, I don't think they wanted to sell anymore, but they had to because they weren't buying them. So, like, there were certain fans that were buying them for UCLA, and they were going on the UCLA side and just all moving to the other side. It's a big stadium. The holds probably like 115,000 people. There's nowhere close to 115,000 people. So, that whole, just that whole week of preparation, it was just, very intense.
What goes into moments like that, bro, to not get nervous? Because obviously you had a lot of big moments in college, and you're going to have a lot of big moments in the NFL as well, and for like example, like the Combine, what goes into making sure you're not nervous, peak performance, you're good to go?
I think it's just, the confidence in your technique, the confidence in your preparation, Obviously, you go out there and practice for a reason, for, certain times like that. And then obviously just knowing that, why you're here. I think knowing, your why on, everything and why you do certain things. And then obviously knowing why you're in that position. Obviously, because you're supposed to be in that position. So I think, when you're able to be in that position, when you're actually in the lights, like, the combine or, if it's a big game, I think it's just the confidence that you bring, and just having that confidence. I think that's definitely something that, just helps you go out there, worry-free and just go out there and just play football.
All right, bro. So I know obviously peak performance is a huge thing. You said, your practice, your preparation obviously makes for good performance. So I want to switch gears, bro, to talk about the combine. Obviously, you showed out at the combine recently, and everyone saw it, especially back home, man. It was all over NFL Network and stuff. So talk to us about the combine, what goes into the combine, and how was the preparation for that?
Yeah, I just want to say, it was definitely a dream come true. I dreamed of that since I knew what the combine was. So I think, that whole preparation I started training probably like a few days after Christmas. Obviously knowing that, the combine is late February, early March. So knowing that, time was critical. I was down in Florida training. So I think, just being able to be down there with, other, elite players. I was down there with, Jordan Addison, Tank Dale, a lot of the other receivers. And it wasn't really receivers. It was just like, so many other players that, first-round picks, second-round picks, NFL players that were there last year. So, just being able to be in that environment, I think that, I excel best when I'm around people that, are kind of, in the same, caliber as me, same, kind of skill set. So, just being able to go out there, compete with them, every day we were training, competing on who was the fastest that day. So I think, being able to go out there and at the combine and, actually go out there and perform, how I wanted to, was definitely, a dream come true, like I said. And I think, the preparation, it was definitely a long, stressful process. Obviously knowing that, there's a limit of, error, margin of error. So I think, being able to go out there and just, be comfortable and just do what I do, it was definitely, a surreal feeling, but it was also, fun and exciting.
Okay. How does the invite come, bro? Like, because obviously you kind of know like people are like in the talks of who's probably gonna be there. But is there like an official invite? Like, did they send you a text or something? Like, they find your phone number, they get your letter. How does that invite come?
Yeah, so they usually so when you sign with your agent, it goes to NFLPA. So like they have everything in the system, your number, your email. So they send you. So the way they send invites is through email. So. I remember, going to the East-West, the Shrine Bowl, and I was out there, and that's when I got an email, and it said, you're invited to 2023, National Scouting Combine. When I looked at it, I'm like, there's no way. So I came out of it. I texted my agent, and he was like, yeah, like they're going out today. So I was like, yeah, it was very, very exciting.
That's dope, dude. I can't even imagine just coming out of the game and then just open up your email and you got an email. Hey, you're going, because the combine is such a big deal. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of players, even the people that go undrafted, but very, very select few get the invite to actually go to the combine, dude. So that's crazy. How was it, bro? Like the whole process. So you get over there, like, do you have to get your own hotel? Do they put you guys all in the same hotel, or how does that work?
Yeah, so all of the players we were all in the same hotel. Everything was kind of like connected. Like we had the hotel, the convention center, and then the stadium. So it was all connected. So like underground, like you just go through like, the places underground, just walk to the stadium. Like we can walk to the stadium from our room. So just that whole, experience, everything, we were all, I think it was 50 receivers. So we were split up into two groups. So, everything we did was with, our group of receivers. So like we would interview with teams. We had a bunch of medical things that we did. It was just, it was a long process. It wasn't fun, but it was just long, time consuming. But glad that to be over with.
Yeah.
What was the worst and best part about the combine, or your favorite and least favorite part about it?
I think the worst thing was not being able to get a lot of sleep. Like we were up till probably like 11:30.
What time do you guys start?
Like 7. We had 7, so we had breakfast like 6:30. We check in at 7, meet with all our teams and stuff. With the dude that took us around, with the scout that took us around, and then we did everything. We started our day probably 7:30. We walked everywhere. So, you know, your legs were tired. You literally walked everywhere, back to the stadium, back to the hotel, to the stadium, back to the hotel. Especially the day of the combine, like, we had to walk everywhere. So, like, they want, like, obviously, you know, when you train, you want to be off your feet when you got to run because, obviously, you know, you got to be at peak performance. So, like, you know, just going through that whole day, I think I had, before I even stepped foot in the stadium, like, we probably walked, like, 15 football fields. Like, it was just crazy.
Damn. That's crazy because on TV, like, people, you don't see that, I feel. You know,
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
growing up watching it, you have no clue that's what's going on.
That's why I had no clue, like, this how well. I thought it was just you get there, go out there, do a couple interviews, and then Saturday you go out and run and do all your stuff. Nah, I was there for a whole week.
Do you feel like they do that on purpose, though, bro, to, like, make sure you're kind of game ready, NFL ready?
I think, yeah. Definitely, you know, just to see. Obviously, you know, they see your character, you know, what type of person you are through that. Like, if you start complaining or you start getting mad or irritated and stuff like that and start lashing out, like, they'll be like, okay, I know what type of person he is. So I think, you know, just be able to go through that whole process, you know, be cool, calm, collected, and, you know, just take everything in. You know, if a coach asks you something, like, you know, be able to answer in a respectful way. You know, if they tell you you got to go down to this meeting, because there was definitely times where it was like already almost 10:30, you're in bed already, and the coach will call you like, hey, like, we want to meet with you and this and that. So, like, you have to go back down, put clothes on, go back down, go meet with them for another 30 minutes, and then by that time it's like 11 o'clock, so you're going to bed.
That's 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, 10:30 p.m. It's all in the night.
I was just going to ask about that, bro, because you said you were up till 11, so obviously that's probably not working out. So the coaches, that's kind of when the meetings are happening, like little mini interviews?
Yeah. So they're like meeting, like, it's like a room, kind of like this, kind of a little bigger, but there's like tables everywhere, and it'll be like, have like 6 coaches, so like coach will call you, you go over there. So we had like these lanyards, so like that's how we were labeled, like, with our receiver number. So I was receiver number 9 because my last name is Cropper. So, like, it was alphabetically ordered, but it was like 1. So if you had you're A, you probably in the top 3. So I was number 9, so they'll call you like receiver number 9. You'll go to the team, talk to them, you know, chop it up, get to know them, kind of thing. And then formal interviews was like, you know, they'll talk to you about, you know, actual football stuff. They'll get you up on the board, ask you about a play that, you know, we ran like my freshman year. We'll get a play. He'll ask you if you know this play and things like that. See, like, if you remember those things.
Dude, I was going to ask about that, like, because, I mean, it's 10:30 at night. Like, what are you going to talk about, you know?
all football.
Was there ever any times, bro, like, whenever a coach asks you something and you're like, bro, I don't even – that's freshman year, you know what I mean? Like, how do you answer that if there's a question you don't know or you're not 100% confident on?
Well, usually, you know, like, because, I mean, I've been in the same offense since my freshman year, so, like, I know all the plays, I know everything that goes into it. So I think, you know, when they asked me about the play, like, I mean, I knew the play, so, you know, just explaining to them. But they'll play, like, the whole play first. They'll play the whole play first so that you can see it, and then they'll tell you, like, okay, what's this play called? And then, you know, you just answer and, you know, just type it up, and then, you know, they move on for that.
That's crazy, dude.
That's
so
intense.
Going into it, bro, did your agent, like, did you know that you were going to be put through that? Like, did you kind of have some mental prep for that? Because I feel like I didn't even know they did that, you know? Because, I mean, on TV, you know, you turn it on, you watch a combine, do the broad jump, you know, the 40.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know, like, there was, like, a whole bunch of interviews, dude. Did you have, like, prep for that?
I had interview prep. Obviously, you know, we did that at the combine, and then at the East-West, we kind of did, like, the same format. So, like, there was a time where it was, like, after practice, we'll have, you know, our meeting, our position meeting, do these things, film and stuff, and then we would go to, like, our meetings. So, like, they would be, like, from probably, like, 2 to, like, 6 o'clock, and it was just all meetings. And, you know, we meet with teams, go around, meet with teams. So, I mean, I met with, most of the teams, really, you know, good conversations with everybody, you know, be able to just, you know, tell your story in, you know, a matter of 5 to 10 minutes.
Out of all those interviews you did, bro, how much goes into, like, their interviews they ask you and them actually picking you? Because obviously only one team can pick you, bro, on draft day. You know what I mean? So was there any interviews that stood out or any interviews or any teams at home that you could tell people at home, you're like, hey, you know, they kind of hinted a little bit?
Yeah, they haven't really, like, they don't really hint. They'll just, like, it's all, like, just meetings. Like, they're just trying to get to know who you are as a person. Because obviously they know, your film, so like they know you can play football. That's why you're there. So like they're trying to get to know you, your home life. They'll ask certain questions about you, and then certain questions like your mindset. They'll ask how you learn, things like that. Obviously because you got to learn big installs. They have probably like 20 play installs, so like you got to learn that, and you have like a 20 play install, and the next day you run it, or sometimes you had a 20-day install, 20 play install, and you'll install it that same day at practice. So, it's just a lot of things, just like how much information that you can pick up in such a short amount of time. So they want to see, obviously, if they're going to have a struggle with you. Obviously, that's the thing where, if I got a receiver that doesn't struggle learning, but I got you that does struggle, I'm going to take him, and I can get you later for less money. So, it's a big business, but, it's definitely, everything that they do, everything that you do, goes into count to, draft day and where they pick you.
That's big, bro. And so obviously after Combine, bro, you showed out. A lot of stuff goes into it. That's a lot of stuff like Dan was saying, bro. We had no idea goes into the Combine. We thought it was just kind of you do some drills and, like we didn't know the whole interview stuff. And they do all that stuff. So obviously after, let's just skip forward after. What would you rate your Combine performance?
I definitely did good. I definitely, showed them. I think one of the biggest things going into the Combine was my speed. Everybody, a lot of the scouts thought I was going to run like a mid 4.5. So I think, just knowing that, my agent texted me and he was like most of the teams got you running like a 4.37. That's what they had me ran. So I was just like, that's what I was training. Like I was training and running that time. So it was just like I knew that the only way I would run a 4.5 is if I heavy squatted the same day and I went out there and tried to run without stretching. That was the only time I would ever run a 4.5.
After the Combine now, obviously draft day is coming up pretty soon. How do you prepare for draft day, and what does that look like?
Really just, some more training. I think now I don't have to train for a 40 anymore. I can just train for football and just, be a football player again. I think, these last 3 months, I was a track star. Everything I did was just to run fast. So I think now, I can work on, my craft, football things, a lot of things that are going to help me on the field. Not just my speed, but, receiver things, catching the ball, running routes again.
Are there any teams that, like, out there that – obviously, I know we talked a little bit earlier as far as, like, favorite teams and stuff like that, but is there a favorite team? Is there somewhere where you like to go specific?
Definitely. I know my family would want me to go to the Cowboys. So I think that's probably the team that, if I did land there, they would be happy. But really anywhere, I can play – anywhere in the cold weather, in the hot weather, really don't matter.
What's your message, bro, to all the GMs at home or the scouts at home that they probably turn on your tape right now, they turn on the NFL Combine and thinking about picking you? What's Jalen's message to them at home on why they should pick you?
This already something I told them, but, I could play. I come out there, no matter where I'm at, I'm going to put on a performance.
I may be a little bit biased, but I know that, like, if John Lynch is watching this at home, Kyle Shanahan maybe turns on the clip. I'm a Niner fan, man, so I don't know. I think you look pretty good in the red and gold, man, but that's just might be a little biased, but that's just me.
We'll see. I'll be happy anywhere I go.
Do you feel like you're getting a little more famous? Like, do you feel like people are starting to, like, recognize you a lot more now? Because I feel like you putting on a Fresno State, a lot of people already knew you. Do you feel like after the Combine that kind of notoriety went up a little bit?
I think with my skill set and, like, the things I did in football, I think, that was always definitely something that just knowing that I can play, but, showing, a lot more people that, be able to open their eyes about, I can play football. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, if you can't play football, there's not much that you can do. But I think that, obviously, the position that, God put me in, and then, being able to do everything that I've done on the field, definitely put me in a position to, be able to showcase that, I'm a real ball player. I can go out there and compete with anybody.
Do you have people like now, dude, going up to you, like asking for autographs and stuff like that yet?
Yeah, that's been going on since like my sophomore year.
I was gonna say, right, since like your sophomore year. Yeah.
How does that feel, bro? Because obviously, like, someone wanting your autograph, that's a big deal, bro. And you coming from the Central Valley here, there's not a lot of people that have made it out of the Central Valley. Usually, people want to move to big cities like LA, San Francisco to make it out. So, what does that mean to you, bro, coming from the Valley like that?
It definitely means a lot, just to be noticed for, the hard work that I've put in. but also knowing that, you know, I was that kid that one time, you know, asking for, you know, an autograph from, you know, Devontae, Derek Carr, things like that. So knowing that, you know, I'm in that position now, you know, same team that they played on, and, you know, kids are looking up to me like that. So it's just, you know, a full circle moment. Obviously, you know, blessed that, you know, I'm able to have that type of impact on, you know, kids' lives. Not only them, but, you know, the fans that, you know, come out to the game. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, like I said, you know, full circle moment. You know, definitely blessed. So
I know you like to give back to the community too, bro. You had your skills camp. Do you plan on still doing the skills camp year after year?
yeah, I definitely, it'll probably be a little bit better this year. But, you know, that's definitely something that, you know, I've always wanted to do. So, you know, being able to have that like an annual thing was definitely, you know, in the process, definitely in the works.
That's cool.
And I know you on the whole topic of being like a role model, bro, and putting on for the city and stuff like that. I know you had a lot of people looking up to you now, you know, on that same topic. So what's a message you would give people at home that are, you know, someone that is trying to come up, someone that maybe is not to college yet or hasn't went to the combine, stuff like that. They're just starting out, man.
Yeah.
What's some advice you would give them on how to keep going and get to the level you are?
Really just, you know, tell them that, you know, everything, every day, you know, it comes down to, you know, the person that you are, you know, the mindset that you have on everything. You know, if you choose to have goals, you know, there's just nobody that can tell you that this is not a realistic goal except for yourself. So I think, you know, when you set, you know, goals, you know, make them realistic, but at the same time, know that, you know, there's going to be work that, you know, it takes a lot of work to get to, you know, the position that you want to be in. You know, it takes work to, you know, be, you know, an NFL player. It takes work to play in the NBA. It takes work to be a president. So, you know, everything that you do obviously takes work, but, you know, it starts with the mindset.
100%, bro. And you definitely put in the work, bro. So now that you put in the work, you're about to have a lot of the fruits of your labor, bro. You're going to, you know, on draft day, stuff like that. I know we're excited to watch you wherever you go, bro. But now I want to skip forward where after the draft. Are you already in the NFL? Are there any people, any quarterbacks that you're looking forward to catching some touchdown passes from?
Man, yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, growing up, watching, you know, Tom Brady, I mean, he was like the number one quarterback that, you know, I mean, we call him the GOAT. Unfortunately, he's not playing no more, so definitely, you know, my second will be either, you know, Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. That would probably be the top two right now.
I feel like Patrick Mahomes is up there now. He's earning his stripes. Not
he
quite, you know,
he
Tom
definitely
Brady,
is. Yeah, he definitely
His
is.
numbers, bro, are nuts compared to, like, if you compare his numbers to Brady right now, it's
Yeah.
that's crazy. What about any other players in general, bro? Are there any other just NFL players you're looking forward to playing with right now?
Right now, probably Odell. I mean, you know, I watch Odell's highlights all the time, his college highlights, you know, his workouts and stuff like that. You know, I try to model my game like him. And I think if I got the chance to play with him, man.
That's crazy,
yeah,
dude. Because you grew up watching him, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Bro, I know obviously right now you have a lot of endorsement deals, brand deals coming on. Talk about that, bro. Like, what goes into that? How do you choose brand deals? How do you choose to not work with a couple brands? Like, how does that go into?
Really just, you know, if, you know, companies come to my agent, you know, saying they want to work with me, do things, it really just comes down to, you know, he'll be like, hey, crap, like, you want to do this or no? I'm like, yeah. So we'll do it. Do all that.
Yeah.
He'll ask me again, like, you want to do this or this one? You know, I'll be like, yeah, I want to do this one. I don't want to do this one. So it's really just like, you know, pick and choose, you know, kind of deal. It's nothing that I have to do. It's really all just, you know, options. You know, companies come to him, ask me if I want to do something. You know, it's either like a yes or no.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to purchasing, bro, with your first big NFL check, or what does that look like?
Not right now. Not that I could think of. Probably won't get a car. Probably won't get a house. So I don't know.
Still thinking about that one?
Yeah, still thinking about that one. I just purchased another chain. So that's probably.
That's what I was gonna say. Usually jewelry and
big,
bro.
But it's not too big. So right now, yeah, I don't know yet. I gotta think about it. When I see that money in my account, I think I'll be like, okay.
A little different, huh?
Yeah, it's a little different. But I probably won't get anything for probably my first 2 years.
That's good, dude. Because I feel like another big thing with NFL is that because it is a business and because it is dependent on, like, it's a sport. Like, I mean, you never know. You know, you could have 2, 3, 4 year career, 10, 15 year career. So I think that's pretty cool, dude. That you kind of going into it knowing that, hey, like I got to take care of, like Marshawn Lynch says, man, you got to take care of your chickens.
You got to take care of that.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man, because I know obviously you took us through the whole NFL Combine experience. Draft day experience is coming up. You have a lot of good stuff going on, and we appreciate you, man, putting on for the Valley. And us being from the Valley, like I said, we there's not a lot of people that made it out of the Valley, and you kind of making it out, man, doing all the stuff you're doing, giving back, is kind of showing everyone else. I feel like even at home, people watching this, that it doesn't matter really where you're from, right? It doesn't matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter anything like that. It just matters the work you put in, the dreams like you're talking about, and everything comes together. So in closing, I know we always have a final signature question we ask here on the All Aces podcast. We want to ask you today. So I want you to picture young Jalen, right? Maybe the first couple of years you're putting on the pads where before you got the college offers, before you had any success at all, before you had any letters coming in, what's something you would tell young Jalen, maybe Pee-wee Jalen, as far as to let you know it's going to be okay, let you know to put in that extra work, let you know that at the end result's all going to be worth it?
Definitely not be a sore loser. I think that kind of took a lot away from my, joy growing up. I hated losing. But obviously, when you lose, you take an L, like you obviously learn a little bit more than when you win. So I think, be able to go through that and actually just enjoy the process, have fun when I was younger. I think, I always thought it was just, a competition every time and I had to win. But I think, just obviously when you're young, just being able to go out there and have fun, I think that's definitely something that, you just live in the moment, take it all in, and just have fun. Because, I mean, I look back now, like I feel like I just started playing football. So, when I look back at it, it's definitely, it goes by fast. But, to be able to see, the position that I'm in now, it definitely, paid off.
Love that, bro. That's good, bro. Definitely know what it takes to win. I know that you definitely know what it's going to take to win at the next level as well, man. So, yeah, we really appreciate you coming on today, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Any last words, Dan?
I think, bro, with your story and giving a little more context to what it takes to really be successful, bro, I think you inspired a lot of people, especially like Anthony mentioned earlier, like you're putting on for the Valley. A lot of time kids, man, sometimes they just need to see somebody do it just like them from the simplest that they are. So I think for sure, man, you inspired a lot of people throughout your career, and I think you're going to continue to inspire a lot of people as you progress through, in your future NFL career, man. So
it goes beyond just athletics too, bro. Like I know for us, like we have like our athletic career ended a long freaking time ago, bro, to be honest with you. If you couldn't tell. So even on the business side of it, bro, like the business side of it, you motivate us knowing that, you made it big coming from the Valley, that we can come big from the Valley, whether it's business, podcasting, whatever it is, man. So we appreciate it. And, we appreciate everyone at home as well, watching at home, always showing us constant support. Like always, man, we got Jalen Cropper today. We always promise to bring you the aces of every single industry, and today was no different, man. So appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.